Inheriting a home, it can bring up a ton of different feelings. And when that house needs a whole lot of work, well, it can just feel overwhelming. So today, we're going to break it all down. We'll walk you through the exact steps to take, step by step. The goal here is to turn what feels like this huge mountain of stress into a really clear, totally manageable path forward. Ready? Let's dive in. And wow, that really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It is 100% normal to feel both grateful and, at the same time, completely snowed under. Because this isn't just about a building, right? It's about navigating a really big life event. So our whole goal here is to help you manage that burden part so you can see the way forward crystal clear. Okay, so first things first. Before you even think about picking up a hammer or calling a realtor, the very first step is always the legal stuff. You have got to make sure that house is officially, legally, yours. This part, it's the foundation for absolutely everything that comes next. You can't skip it. All right, so you've probably heard this word thrown around, probate. It sounds super official, maybe even a little scary. So what does it actually mean? Let's break down this first big hurdle nice and simple. Okay, so when you boil it all down, probate is really just the official legal process of getting the property's ownership transferred from the person who passed away to you, the heir. If there's a will, the executor named in the will handles it. If not, the court steps in and appoints someone. Now, the key thing to remember is that this isn't an overnight thing. It can take several months, so you gotta be patient. But it's a totally standard, totally required step to get that property officially in your name.
So, how do you get through probate? Well, it all starts with gathering a few key pieces of paper. And honestly, the best way to tackle this is to think of it like a simple checklist, just like the one you see here. Getting these things in order, the death certificate, the will, any mortgage or tax records for the house, this is your first big actionable step. This is you taking control of the situation.
All right, let's pivot to the topic that, let's be honest, probably causes the most anxiety for everyone: taxes. Now, it can feel super complicated, but I promise, understanding just one key concept can change, well, pretty much everything. So here's the million-dollar question, right? If I decide to sell this house, am I going to get hit with a massive tax bill on the profit? Well, the answer, thankfully, is usually no. And it's all because of this one surprisingly helpful tax rule. It's called the step-up in basis. And I'm not kidding, this might be the single most important financial thing you need to get your head around in this whole process. Basically, instead of you being on the hook for taxes on decades of the house's value going up, the home's cost for tax purposes gets stepped up to whatever its fair market value was on the date you inherited it. This is a huge deal. It can literally save you an unbelievable amount of money. Let me show you exactly how it works. Okay, check out this table. It really shows the incredible difference this one rule makes. Look at that top row. Without the step up, if they bought it for $50K and you sold for $300K, you'd be looking at taxes on a massive $250,000 gain. Ouch. But with the step up in basis, look at that bottom row. The value gets stepped up to $300K, so if you sell it for just a little more, say $305K, your taxable gain is only $5,000. See the difference? It's huge. And this is exactly why selling sooner, before the house has time to gain a lot more value, can be a really, really smart financial move. Okay, so the legal paperwork is moving along, you've got a handle on the tax situation, now it's time to face the house itself. And I know, this can be the most daunting part, especially if it's in rough shape. So, where do you even start? What do you look for? When you do that first walkthrough, you need to be a bit of a detective. Keep your eyes peeled for these common, big-ticket problems. I mean, we're talking about more than just needing a fresh coat of paint here. Look for any signs of water damage, stains on the ceiling. Check for big cracks in the foundation or walls. And be really honest about the big systems. How old is that roof? The plumbing? The electrical? These are the kinds of issues that can cost serious, serious money to fix. And that brings us to a really, really important point. If that mental checklist of repairs in your head is starting to look more like a 500-page novel, I want you to remember this. You do not have to fix a single thing. Yep, selling a house as is means exactly what it sounds like. You sell it in its current condition, warts and all, and let the new buyer deal with the renovations. It's a super powerful option that can save you time, money, and a mountain of stress. So, okay, if you're leaning towards selling, you've basically got a few different roads you can go down. Let's break down the three main options so you can really see which one feels like the best fit for you and your situation. This table right here, it lays it all out pretty clearly. First up, a cash buyer. This is all about speed and simplicity. We're talking fastest possible sale, usually just a week or two. And the effort for you is super low. No repairs, no showings, no commissions. Then you've got the traditional route with a real estate agent. You might get a higher sale price, sure, but it's going to be slower. We're talking months. Plus, you'll have agent commissions to pay, and you'll probably have to do some repairs and staging. And finally, there's for sale by owner, or FSBO. The big pro here is you save on commissions. The huge con? You have to do everything yourself. The marketing, the showings, the negotiations, all that tricky paperwork, it's all on you.
Okay, so we've walked through the legal stuff, we've demystified the taxes, and we've laid out your selling options. Now it's time to pull it all together and figure out what's truly right for you. And the way to do that is to ask yourself a few really important, really honest questions.
So I really want you to take a second and think about these. First, does the home have a lot of sentimental value for you? Is there an outstanding mortgage or other debts that need to be paid off, like yesterday? What about other people? Are you coordinating this decision with siblings or other heirs? And maybe most importantly, be super honest with yourself about this last one. How much time and energy and, frankly, stress can you realistically handle right now? The answers to these questions are going to be your compass, pointing you down the right path. And really, that's the bottom line here. There is no single right answer that works for everybody. The goal isn't just to squeeze every last penny out of the house, especially if it's going to cost you your sanity to do it. The right choice is the one that works for your life right now, your finances, your schedule, and your own well-being.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with just one final question to think about. When you look at everything we've talked about, the money, the time, the effort, which of these paths is going to bring you the most peace of mind? Because whatever that answer is, that's your path forward.